I don't think Lars would ever call me to apologize, but
3 million records sold. Kip Winger's poster boy mug was minting cold, hard cash. Then came 1991. Lars Ulrich buried a dart in Kip's photo in the Nothing Else Matters video. One shot on MTV, and he was dead to heavy rotation. The packed arenas vanished, replaced by cheap club stages. Yesterday's cash cow ran completely dry. A single dart on camera turned his name to pure poison for the whole damn industry. 1988. Kip Winger was packing bank vaults with cash. Stadium gigs moved hundreds of thousands of tickets. The industry bled that tour schedule dry. The roadies unloading 20-ton rigs with the Winger logo were just feeding the machine. Schedules, flights, deadlines, paychecks. The crew rigging amps and running miles of cable saw exactly one thing: the box office. Building and wrecking tons of steel, day in and day out. Bus drivers running the convoy coast to coast hauled the label's prime asset, the show, from one ticket window to the next. Green rooms were piled with ironclad riders and signed contracts. Guitar techs wiping stage sweat off his axes all confirmed it. Winger didn't look back. He just signed the checks. He owned MTV prime time. His tapes never left the VCRs and the broadcast booths. The system stamped out product without a hitch. Late 80s glam metal meant a guaranteed margin. Kip Winger met every technical spec of that assembly line. He wore the right threads. He pushed the right sound. Backstage, sound guys watched the decibel meters bleed red. Every show ended with cash collection. Security physically braced against the crush of the crowd. Venue owners kept nailing sold-out signs to the doors. On paper, the setup ran flawless. Ledgers closed. The money rolled in. Winger sat at the absolute top of the payroll. He soaked up 100% of the resources. Back then, not a single manager saw the crash coming. Contracts locked in studio hours for future records. Stadium dates were booked 3 years deep. Winger took his cut, slid into a blacked-out car, and rolled to the next venue. It was an endless loop, trading noise for dollars. Nobody checked the rearview mirror. They only looked at the bottom line. One-on-one recording studio turned into a lockdown bunker. Cameras tracked every move James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich made. The official PR line? Cameramen were just documenting the new record. The raw tape tells a different story. A story about picking a target. Metallica was gearing up to hijack the stadiums. Between takes, Lars Ulrich pinned a poster of Kip Winger's face to the wall. The lens caught a simple act, pitching darts dead center at the competition. Officially, they called it killing time. But the night crew locking up the joint threw shredded posters in the trash every single evening. Ulrich was punching holes in the face of a guy whose clock had already run out. One throw made the Winger name dead weight on a marquee. Why Kip Winger? Whatever the company line was, the choice wasn't random. Winger was the walking storefront for the old regime. Perfect hair, bleach-white smiles, multi-million print runs. He hoarded the cash. The new school was moving in to take over the corner office. To do that, the old boss needed a public execution. A junior engineer sitting in the corner of the booth remembers one specific night. Hetfield and Ulrich weren't debating chords. They handed down a verdict. These spandex guys are clogging up our airwaves. Time to pull the plug. True or hell, maybe just a rumor. The fallout is bulletproof. Winger's hit parader centerfold ended up pinned to that drywall. Metal snobbery demanded physical humiliation of the rival. The dart in Lars's hand did the job of a weapon. The industry was flipping the format. Winger was the last stronghold of the old order. Taking him out green lit a brand new assembly line. They didn't call his management. They hardwired the hit into the most expensive music video of the decade. The cameraman hit record. The steel tip pierced the paper. It guaranteed the execution would play on a loop on millions of TV screens. Cameras documented the exact transfer of power. The old asset was hauled straight to the scrap heap. 1992. Couriers dropped the Nothing Else Matters tape at MTV headquarters. Broadcast techs racked the film into the decks. At exactly 2 minutes and 56 seconds, Lars Ulrich buried a steel dart into the studio drywall. The point punched dead center through Kip Winger's face. Network sound guys pushed that signal through the amps. Viewers heard the dead thud of steel piercing glossy paper. The cameras caught the Metallica drummer laughing. The dart sticking right out of a rival's mug. It was a televised demolition. The video hit round-the-clock rotation. Every time it played on a TV screen, it triggered the physical dismantling of another man's business. The industry fired up the slow incinerator. Tour managers got new marching orders. Promoters started crossing 20,000-seat arenas off the contracts, penciling in 1,000-cap sweatboxes on the routing sheets. MTV program directors yanked Winger out of prime time and dumped his tapes in the graveyard shift. Bean counters closing out the box office watched the merch money tank. Rocking a Winger shirt on the street was suddenly social suicide. Kids buried them at the absolute bottom of their closets. That dart footage gave the industry all the excuse it needed to write the band off completely. Winger bled out their remaining contracts playing to half-empty rooms. One throw of a dart on tape zeroed out the cash register. The money just stopped. Label suits tore up the contract. A multi-year tour schedule turned into a dead blank page. Kip Winger footed the bill for this new era with his stadium tours. They scrubbed his name right off the street marquees. Let us know if you've got the stomach for these kinds of stories. Just drop your signature below, or point your lens at this code. That's our signal to start pulling files for the next case. Now, let's see why years down the road, James Hetfield had to pick up the phone and dial the number of his old target. After 1993, the line went dead. You call that a coincidence? Then why did Kip Winger never step foot inside a TV studio again? In this racket, there are no coincidences. He was erased, quiet and clean. Tour managers slammed the books shut on his routing sheets. Truck drivers tossed their keys back to the lot owners. Pressing plants stopped stamping out the vinyl. Gold records just hung there on the walls of empty offices. His agent's phone didn't just stop ringing, the line was physically cut. Network suits turned the artist's face into a free target. The guys in Winger packed their gear into gig bags. Kip locked his bass in its case. He started putting pen to paper, writing sheet music for symphony orchestras. He vacated the metal territory completely. At the exact same time, Metallica was bolting their banners to the concrete facades of the biggest arenas on Earth. They flew private. They cashed checks heavy with zeros. But the mechanism they launched left concrete wreckage on the ground. Decades later, James Hetfield picked up a receiver. He personally dialed Kip Winger's number. The official PR line calls that conversation an apology. In reality, it was just stating the facts. Hetfield spoke right into the mouthpiece. He called the dart stunt a dirty move. He admitted it out loud. The frontman of the biggest band in the world wasn't trying to clear his karma. He went on the record. The mechanism they triggered was ruthlessly out of proportion. They committed one frame to film, and that broadcast leveled another man's business to the dirt. The architects of the system finally looked at the empty venues their televised strike left behind. Kip Winger took the call. Hetfield's voice came through the speaker. The musician answered back. But the music industry doesn't hand out pardons. They only sign off on balance sheets. No phone call can print concert tickets to the past. Words don't wire millions of bucks back into closed bank accounts. The apology rang out in a locked room. And the Nothing Else Matters video keeps spinning on the servers. The steel tip of that dart is permanently locked on film. It pierces the poster with Winger's face every damn day. The man got a phone call. But the industry kept his stadiums forever.